In this video, I'm gonna share my favorite pumpkin crunch recipe. This is a local Hawaii classic dessert that is often made around the holidays, and it's perfect for get-togethers and parties. For this recipe, you're gonna need the following ingredients: 1 can or 15 ounces of pumpkin puree, 1 can or 12 ounces of evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of white sugar, 3 large eggs, 1 box of yellow cake mix, 1 cup of glazed pecans, which we're gonna chop. If you have a nut allergy, you can just replace this with pretzels. And 8 ounces of melted butter. This is about a cup of melted butter. For the toppings, I'm gonna use some of this caramel syrup, and we're also gonna use 1 container of Cool Whip. You can also double this if you want a taller, thicker layer of whipped cream. To begin, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and in a large bowl, we're going to combine the can of pumpkin puree, the evaporated milk, the ground cinnamon, salt, white sugar, and the 3 eggs. I'm using a spoon here to mix it all together, which was a terrible idea, and I would recommend that you use a whisk. And once it's all mixed up, I'm going to use the wrapper of the butter to lightly grease a 9x13 pan while the butter melts in the microwave. I'll then place some parchment paper under the pan and cut the corners with some scissors, and this is just to sort of help it fit into the baking pan. The butter in the pan is basically just there to help the paper stick to the pan, and you do not want to skip this parchment paper step or you're going to hate yourself later if you don't already, and everyone else is going to hate you too. Next, we'll pour the pumpkin custard into the parchment paper lined baking pan and make sure that you get as much as you can out of the bowl so not to waste. Then do your best to evenly and lightly sprinkle the entire package of yellow cake mix on top of the liquid custard. Try to avoid any large clumps if possible. Next, I'll evenly distribute the chopped pecans or pretzels on top of the dry cake mix. And when you're done with that, you'll take your melted butter and slowly drizzle it all over. Do your best to cover everything completely and avoid any large dry areas because this won't bake that well and it's going to be a big mouthful of powder for someone later. Bake this in the middle of your oven at 350 degrees for about an hour. After about 50 minutes, check it and give it a little wiggle. It shouldn't move like it's still liquid, and it should be somewhat firm. Give it more time if it needs, and you'll know it's done when it passes the skewer test. That's when you poke it with a skewer and it comes out clean. When it's done, you'll pull it from the oven and you'll let it cool completely. I'd say at least an hour or longer in the fridge. Mine went overnight because I was too lazy to film the rest of this video. But once it's cooled, you'll want to place a cutting board or a sheet pan on top and then invert it. This is the part where you'll hate yourself if you skipped that step earlier. The topping should then become the crust. Carefully remove the parchment paper and let's all take a second to enjoy the satisfying moment. I got a link in the description for this offset spatula that I'm going to use for the whipped cream. Before I add this whipped cream, I just wanted to mention that if you're like me and enjoy cooking and then filming it and then putting it on the internet for people to tell you what you're doing wrong, I can show you how to make better looking and sounding cooking videos. I post a ton of how-to content along with other recipe videos just like this one. So if that sounds like something you're into, consider subscribing. Do your best to evenly spread the whipped cream on top of the pumpkin crunch. I've never thought I needed to use one of these offset spatulas before, but let me tell you, this is the bee's knees. Once you're happy with your spread game, grab the longest knife that you own. I'll be using this Brisket Slicer, link in the description, to cut this thing up. I like to try and find the middle and then I'll make a cut. And then I'll clean the knife and then I'll find the middle of that cut and do this over and over and over again until you're happy. I made 12 huge pieces and I should have probably cut this down to 1/4 of its size. Then I'm gonna plate it as pretty as I can and hide that part where I got the whipped cream on it. Then I'll drizzle some of the caramel sauce on top and then I'll top it with another pecan. And there it is. This is one of my favorite local desserts and it's always a hit. Let's go in for a bite. Oh yeah.